that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago, coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saeed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saeed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here.
welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Remember, we are the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago. Remember that. So, viewers, as we go straight in the news tonight, Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali have stated that the government continues its search for the people responsible for the abandonment of the Gulf Stream, that partially submerged barge that caused the February 7th oil spill off the coast of the Cove in Tobago. Dr. Ali said the government's effort to track down the people responsible led to Angola, where the Solo Creed, the tugboat allegedly towed the Gulf Stream, was spotted. However, he said the government still has not caught up with the culprits.
Know that the specific owners, we've identified the item, we've identified the vessel that was taking it across the ocean. The people who are engaged in activities like that go very far in to cover. So far, we have not been able to isolate the individual owners who have the liability for that. Internationally, we continue to serve, cooperate with people engaged in international crime. The crime for that barge to have this cargo and not mention it, right? And the fact that tracking device available on it should tell you the intention up front was to not be held accountable if something happens. When they got into difficulty, just cut it loose and Tobago paid the price. So you now have to look at, and I think quite Africa we went, Angola, that's as far as we got. International criminal conduct, very, very difficult to isolate the perpetrators. But we are engaged in a continuous search.
So Trinidad and Tobago, the Gulf Stream was refloated on August 19th and moved to Sealouts on August 22nd. On August 24th, the Ministry of Energy reported the unauthorized people had tried to board the vessel, resulting in a shootout with the Coast Guard. The Ministry of Energy said the vessel continued to be protected by the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard and the police. Rowley also asked whether he believes that there was contraband on the overturned vessel, but said he didn't want to speculate. Listen to this.
I'm not into conspiracy theories. I don't know enough about that to comment on it, but I certainly wouldn't go down that road. That barge came into Tobago, and it is part of its salvage that brought it to Sealouts. So I am not in a position to go down to, and I don't know that that interpretation is a reasonable one.
Any news then on?
So much for that. Now, nevertheless, it's in Sealouts. Moving along, Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali has revealed the local designer, Jeweler Gillian Bishop, has been given the assignment to draft a new design for the coat of arms. However, he did not reveal how much Bishop has charged for the design, nor when she will deliver it. But he said it would not cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Dr. Rowley said that there is a committee that is working on the whole question in signage, status, and monument on whether members of the public can make design submission. He said yes. So listen to this.
We have asked Gillian Bishop, eminent designer and artist, to look at it and give us some renderings, and the cabinet will choose the final position.
Any deadline, sir?
Well, I think we need it as quickly as we can get it. I don't know when she's going to complete it.
Cost for that assignment?
Small cost. It won't be hundreds of millions of dollars. There is a committee that is working on this whole question of signage, which is mainly road signs, signage, statues, and monuments. Right? That work is continuing to completion. And I don't know how many people have cooperated with them to make submissions to them, but the door is open for that. I wouldn't be surprised if the people who are talking about the...
So now, viewers, we do apologize for the video. This is how it was. It was like this from the conference itself. So we do apologize for that. It is not our fault. Now, ask if the steel pan could be added to the emblem without having to remove Christopher Columbus' ship. The PM suggested it was a matter of space and design. Oh, now listen to this one now.
There are not too many prominent places on the emblem. There's a certain amount of balance and artistic taste that has to come. And again, we are expecting. We've authorized one of our better designers to, having heard what the government has said, to do some preparations, and the cabinet will view what is prepared and choose a final position. But again, that's an option. The option was to put it at the top and the side below and so on. But we more than likely will put it in a prominent place on the emblem.
You will still replace the ships.
Well, where the ships are, yeah. Well, I mean that is for us the best place to go.
Now, viewers, Rowley again dismissed suggestion that the plan to rework the emblem will be a costly exercise, but it will not be done all at once. Now, we hear any talk that it will not cost much, it will not cost much, it will not cost much. But the thing is, not costing much is how much? Not costing much is how much? Do we have an average figure? Do we have a projected figure of how much it would cost? This is what the public needs to know. And this is what the Prime Minister is not revealing to the public. It's, you know, it is really sad that we are changing the national coat of arms in Trinidad and Tobago. The Prime Minister knows the figures. Those in his cabinet allegedly knows the figure, but they are not coming out to tell Trinidad and Tobago what is the actual figure. What is the actual figure, Dr. Rowley? Could you give Trinidad and Tobago a projected amount? Can you do that? He also noted that for those asking about Columbus' ship, when we put it there by the majority in the parliament, when you come into government, you're free to take it off. Listen to this now.
So once you decide to change one in any way, when you print the next batch, you print the new version, you don't print the old version. Whether it is the money or the logo. Well, soldiers have coat of arms on the chest and all that had to be thrown out. Why do we get on like that? And I even said 6 months, specifically for referring to stationery, because every government department is stationery, and instead of that way, because the government say we change the logo, over a 6-month period you keep using up what you have, and then when you print a new stock, print the new one. So there's no question of unnecessarily engaging in millions of dollars. And as for those who are asking about, we ships, when we put it there by the majority in the parliament, when you come into government, you're free to take your majority and take it off. That's how the system works. That's how it works. So stop pretending that the government is doing something so horrendous and so detrimental and so on. There's a process.
A lot of talks about the coat of arms in the recent days gone by. A lot. But the thing is, the most important thing we are not getting is a projected amount. A projected amount. And this is what we need to know. Transparency in the adjustment of the coat of arms. Who came up with the idea? Which team that Dr. Rowley assigned to come up with something new for Trinidad and Tobago? Which team? How much was spent on this team? How much is it going to cost to change the coat of arms? How much it is going to cost to change documents? You see, all this is figures that Trinidad and Tobago citizens wants to know. Why? Because it's taxpayers' money that is going to change this. It is taxpayers' money that is going to be spent on it. And this is why we need an answer. What is the projected amount it is going to cost taxpayers in Trinidad and Tobago? Now, I'll tell you something, I'll tell you something. The government feels that taxpayers' money is their money. The government don't pay tax. Let's start right here. The government don't pay tax. No minister in parliament pays tax. Nobody. Who pays the tax? The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Who benefits from it? The 41 MPs that are sitting on both sides. Because your taxpaying dollars give them luxury ride. Your taxpaying dollars buy vehicles for them. Your taxpaying dollars give them free food. Yes. Your taxpaying dollars help keep conferences. But when we, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, ask for a projected figure on a construction or something that the government is going to do that having to do with taxpayers spending money, we can't get that. Why? Where's the transparency in this? Where's the transparency? 41 MPs, from the time they become an MP or a member of parliament or a minister, tax exemptions right through, so they are not contributing to society. It's shocking, eh? This is reality for you all. You are contributing to society by paying taxes on everything. They are not paying taxes, so they contribute absolutely nothing to Trinidad and Tobago. The 41 MPs on both sides contribute nothing to Trinidad and Tobago, but what? Reap the benefit of your tax-paying dollars. It's surprising, but this is the harsh reality that we face today. And when you talk to them, oh, they're more hot than you. Oh, I am a minister. You can't ask me that. Go and meet God. You know what I say? To heaven with all you. Yeah. They contribute absolutely nothing to society. As you become a minister, you're too big to talk to. Your neighbor can't talk to you. That is the harsh reality. But what do you contribute to society that you from? Absolutely nothing. No taxes, no taxes, no taxes. It's sad. But viewers, we are going for a short commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to hear more about the design after this.
Become a member of Real Talk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chagonas. Open a fixed deposit with Real Talk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid upfront. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Real Talk Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chagonas or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
throws you a curveball. And you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery. At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
So, welcome back to Real Talk viewers. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saeed. Excellent topic. A quick thing about the police service and the Prime Minister.
Tell me.
The police service, boy, give kudos to the Prime Minister with respect to police shooting. But the police service, I realize the Prime Minister threw them under the bus. When the Prime Minister do a FITSI, remember FITSI say he's not responsible for security and safety of the citizens. Hear what the Prime Minister said in the press conference, that he is responsible for putting the people in place to go after the criminals, lock them up, and suppress things. So what he is saying, police service only responsible for all this crime and things like that, we have some some kind of brains them have. The other thing I want to talk about, you know what he said again?
Don't blame the Prime Minister, he said.
In all his utterances. He said is a different kind of devil who went after the child and the father who was shot. And that man always categorized the devil. But this is what I want to ask him. When he went to Moriah next to Mason Altar, invoke the late Koto Jombi, who look up his partner. What type of devil that was? That was a good devil? That was a bad devil? That was an indifferent devil? This man calling earlier them to pray. Boy, something is wrong with this country. Because it's the other thing, I hear the Anglican bishop acted for Venezuelan women to be TTPS officers. I wonder why. Why he asked for the male Venezuelan to be TTPS officer too? We had to watch them, SAPCA 1997 report and what the coach Juja's report. We haven't investigated it yet. Watch those fellas in court, some of them is something else. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, my friend. Now, though he did not reveal when the recommendation to change the coat of arms will be brought to Parliament for debate, he said Attorney General Regional Amo could be the one to introduce it when Parliament reopens. The new term begins on September 13th. He also acknowledged its need. Parliamentarian approval. A simple majority vote is required to pass the amendment needed to change the emblem. So I'm sure the Prime Minister would have already had the majority or the simple majority in place. Now I'll tell you something, I've been a Prime Minister. You have to go in front before front take you, So if you're bringing out something this month, trust me, you already talk to people up front. So when they had this do come into effect, and you need a simple majority vote, you already have people there. It's sad, but this is the reality of it. Nevertheless, viewers, we want to know the projected amount that it is going to cost Trinidad and Tobago for this. That is what we want to know. So moving along in our news tonight. Movement for Social Justice political leader David Abdullah believed the Prime Minister believes that the coat of arms need to be changed is warranted, but his approach was deeply flawed. Abdullah said Dr. Rowley should let the Status, Monument and Signage Committee under his office complete its work before making a unilateral decision to alter the national emblem. Listen to this.
Why not wait for that national committee which was set up to engage in consultations and receive recommendations, and then to engage in a process of national education and information about what is the coat of arms, what should national monuments represent, how do we preserve our history, because some are saying by removing a monument you are destroying history. Make your position known and submit it to the committee.
Now viewers, he said even if Rowley and the PNM had a position on the emblem which he believes they were entitled to have, then it should have been expressed to the committee for consideration in its work. Pointing at the enormous position being expressed since the announcement, Abdullah said those suggestions should have all gone before the committee for an education decision to be made.
Let 100 flowers bloom, let all ideas contend. Yes? But don't, Dr. Rowley, use your position as Prime Minister or leader of the party in Parliament that has a majority to ram down the throats of everybody what you believe is right or what you believe is in the interest of the PNM. That cannot be right.
Abdullah also took aim at opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar for her comments warning that change could incite racial tension in the country.
That was a dog whistle, because I don't know that simply saying recognizing the steel pan as a national instrument and the proposal to have it on the coat of arms is a dog whistle is stirring up by itself ethnic conflict. But the time Mrs. Persad-Bissessar said that it's a dog whistle, or rather, let me put it the other way around, let me say it correctly, said that could stir up ethnic conflict, leading to all kinds of other things. That was a dog whistle precisely for some of her persons who support her to take up the issue as being an African versus Indian matter, Pan versus Tassa or something like that.
So switching gears a bit, viewers. Two former Pan Trinbago executive members have stated that the Pan body failure to furnish construction or constructing its headquarters on state land in Trinity was due to a lack of initiative by the Urban Development Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago, UDCOT. Former President Keith Diaz and Vice President Byron said it was UDCOT that failed to construct the headquarters on the site. Now listen to this.
When I approached them, they started talking and they never continue. They never continue the building.
So now Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this now. After the Ministry of Tourism unveiled the design for the new Pan Trinbago headquarters in Port of Spain to be built by UDCOT, the $120 million building will also house the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Tourism Trinidad Limited, and the National Carnival Commission. The building will be constructed on the old post office site on Ryson Road after it is demolished. The ministry said the revenue is the third state given to Pan Trinbago, or the third site given to Pan Trinbago. He first was a parcel of land in Chaguaramas, given in 1974 by the then Prime Minister Dr. Eric Williams. And then Trin City site was given in 2001 by the then Prime Minister Baste Upande. Trinbago, or Pan Trinbago, have since agreed to give up ownership of the Trin City site in return for the Port of Spain venue. However, there has been public debate about the cost Pan Trinbago had undertaken on the Trin City site before abandoning it. They have said building materials were supplied to Pan Trinbago, but they never received money from any state agency for construction of the headquarters. So you see where the bacchanal coming in now, viewers? So this is why now the construction of the Trin City Pan Trinbago was stalled. Udicut, who stalled the construction, Udicut manager Roxanne was unable to comment on the issue. So the president and the vice president for Pan Trinbago now is coming out and telling us, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, that the project was stalled under Udicut. Why? Material was given, but money was not given. So who came up with the idea now to spend $120 million on Pan Trinbago in the new site? Who approved the figure? Where did they allocate this money from? Imagine they don't have design for it already. So this was in the making before it hit public. Wow. Are you surprised? Don't be surprised. This is the reality. So we're going to touch on a topic now that I want to hear from you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Our Prime Minister is fed up with being blamed for Trinidad and Tobago's spiraling crime rate. I think he is also tired of people seeking leniency from some criminals. Dr. Rowley said those contributing to the high crime should not be given a pass, especially those who harm children. He also suggested that the attributing high crime to office holders is baseless, while he condemned the real monsters responsible for the bloodshed against law-abiding citizens. Let's listen to this.
And don't let anybody fool you. That crime is not being done based on who is in office. It's done on the basis of whether there are benefits to be had by the perpetrators. And as fast as you stop or suppress one area, they surprise you with new ingenuity and heartlessness.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, I'll tell you something. Listen to this, eh? We have the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and we have different intelligence arm under the Ministry of National Security. Now, directives come from who? The Commissioner of Police to the police officers in Trinidad and Tobago. Now listen to this. The Trinidad and Tobago Police is supposed to be an independent body. But here we have now a Minister of National Security. Here we have now the head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago. So that is three different departments right there. Who is responsible for crime in Trinidad and Tobago now? Is it the Minister of National Security? Is it the Commissioner of Police? Or is it the head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago? Which one of them gives the directive to the police or TTPS to make sure that the level of crime stays down in the country? Our Prime Minister, Dr. Saieed Ali, is the head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago. That's a big position. The head of the Security Council, keep that in mind. Now we have the Minister of National Security, Fitzgerald Hines, who controls the Ministry of National Security. All the security arms belongs under the ministry. Here we have now the Commissioner of Police, who is the head of Trinidad and Tobago Police Force. What good is she if the tail is wagging the dog? Normally the head have to give the order. The mouth of the dog have to open and give a command for the body to react. Correct? Well said. Who gives Trinidad and Tobago Police Service the orders? You know who? Absolutely nobody from these three offices right now. Why am I saying this? Because if the head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago sees that there's a problem, you will pull the Minister of National Security in a meeting. If the Minister of National Security sees a problem in Trinidad and Tobago, he will pull up on the Commissioner of Police. But who is pulling up on who? Absolutely nobody in Trinidad and Tobago right now concerning crime and criminal activity. Absolutely nobody. And nobody's taking blame for it. Hence the reason why crime and criminal behavior is out of hand in Trinidad and Tobago. Because the Prime Minister don't want to be blamed, the Minister of National Security don't want to be blamed, and the Commissioner of Police don't want to be blamed. So now we know why crime is rampant in the country. If the head of the security now, right, comes down on the lame Minister of National Security we have, comes down on him, hey, buck up yourself. Minister of National Security will then go down to the Commissioner of Police, hey, madam, buck up on yourself. I getting fired from on top, so I'm coming down on you now. Buck up yourself or buck out. In return, the Commissioner of Police now will keep a big meeting with TTPS heads now and come down on them. Hey, buck up or buck out. When these heads now go back to their various divisions, they will come down now on who? The officers in the station. Is either all a buck up on ourselves or all you buck out. And everybody start bucking up in a line. But when the head don't want to buck up, what do you expect? So who in the head go get blamed? Who in the head? The Prime Minister. Who is second? Minister of National Security. Who is third? The Commissioner of Police. So who you want to get blamed? Saieed? No, I will hammer them one by one on national television and make sure they feel the pinch of the public. Not only the public, but international viewers also. So when they go outside to the big meeting, hey, we see Saieed is been lighting up all over, eh? How come? You know the first thing they say? Well, you know, he's a talk show host, he have him out. What is your plan? What is your aim? Tell Trinidad and Tobago that. Tell outside ministers that. You have absolutely no goddamn plan for Trinidad and Tobago. 3 hierarchies and no plan. You know what that is? They're in the desert. Prime Minister said, don't blame me for the high crime. Minister of National Security saying, I am not responsible for your safety. And the Commissioner of Police, well, she always what? Tell me. She always what? Call her good night?
Good night, Mr. Saieed.
Go right ahead.
You are so right. You are quite right. Great program as usual. When he gets caught, the international community is looking on at us.
Correct.
He gets caught, you know. That's what happened. So he is trying to clear himself, blame everybody else as he usually do, but not himself. He's the head of this, the government. And the world is telling us, years now the world is telling us that state official and high office holders in this country is funding and supporting crime and criminals with their activities. Who is when you analyze it, who is the state official? Is the government. And you could see it. All he has to do is hire competent people. Earlier, you hire a lady, they deliberately put her there because she can't read and write, and deliberately the criminal laughing at her, she can't make no decision, and the reflection of the police service is the head of the police service, who is the commissioner, can't read, can't write. So what do you expect the police officers to do? They will work she like sending with salt. And the world continue to tell us about this dictator, you know, and we not taking any action. The citizen of this country just taking this and staying easy. How easy it is to pass a law, a property tax law, as a dictator, to extort money from the citizens. But it's difficult to pass laws to make crime unattractive in this country. Mr. Saieed, there are very few people in this country that can stand up and proudly say that they are doing something good for this country. They are doing everything to make this country a better place. You are one of those persons. Not one
Thank you, my friend. So here it is now, viewers. Enrico and his 5-year-old daughter, Anika, who were gunned down in Moruga last week, were laid to rest yesterday. Dr. Rowley again said their killing not only saddened him, but he believes only a devil could senselessly kill a 5-year-old. However, he acknowledged that it was not a non-national, but our own people committing these crimes. Let's listen to this.
Someone, for a citizen, for a fellow citizen, to have seen a child in somebody's hand or in somebody's presence and deliberately discharge a firearm knowing that you're going to kill that child, you are a different kind of devil. Unfortunately, we have those in this country. That's what we're dealing with. And don't give them any pass by trying to blame me, because I have the responsibility to ensure that those whose job it is to identify and to chase down and to bring them to justice, that they are on the job. That's my work. That's my job. But the people who are doing those crimes, whose son is that? Whose brother is that? Whose cousin is that will do something like that? Not a Venezuelan or a Ghanaian or a Ghanaian or a Russian. It is somebody who we spawned here, we fed here, who we defended here, who we gave opportunities here. And you will watch a 5-year-old child and discharge a firearm into that child's little body? I could tell you, I'm a grandfather of 4 children, and that one, on the day when I read that, I mean, it just made me feel very sad for people to have ended up producing that as part of their family. And I have no excuse to make or any empathy to hold out for people like that, because you are destroying our society.
Now, viewers, the PM also said poverty is not an excuse for committing crime, and urged young people to take advantage of the many youth-focused government opportunities instead of choosing a life of crime. The PM one more time.
And some people believe that they have a right to behave like that. And some people believe that they have a reason to behave like that. Poverty. So they have poverty. So the way out of poverty is to choose that level of violent conduct that debases all of us.
Go like a night. Hello?
Yes, sir. Good night.
Go right ahead, my friend. You're live.
Saieed, the Prime Minister saying that poverty is no excuse to do crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what does cause people to do crime? Not poverty.
Correct.
I don't know, you know. I just asking a question here, you know. Because let me tell you something, right? People out here, when you go to the grocery today, the price of goods and services is one price. When you go tomorrow, it's a different price.
Correct, correct.
Next week, it's a different price.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something, right? The Prime Minister, he administration, because he handpicked the Finance Minister, right?
Correct.
He's the man raising price of everything that's coming in here. We get no VAT exemptions on no food prices, nothing. Everything we get jammed for. So every time you go, look how much time the man send up your side.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that. When your car used to take 100 to full, now taking 300, 350 to full. And the Prime Minister is the man who does say the box stops with him.
Yes.
He's the man that jump 47 and say the box stops with him.
Correct.
And he removed a sitting commissioner who was working to put somebody there who's like a ghost. so you have to weigh the options. He have a big part to play. Why the crime situation is how it is side. He have a very big part to play. Let me tell you how they could have utilized. I told them $100 million they're spending on this building, not $120 million. People in this country know how much is $120 million side.
Nah, they don't.
They don't. They don't think it's a figure.
Correct.
Let me tell you something, right? Here how they could have utilized that $120 million quicker. If you take that $120 million, right, and they built a courthouse right in the prison. So you didn't have to transport prisoners all around the country. Certain security companies would not be making close to $100 million in profit every year. And they could have saved that money for 2 years. They could have saved that money for 2 years and build the pantry and they go building with that money. But you see, everybody wants to eat that food. And we, the taxpayers now, have to bend we back to pull out our money from we private bank account because they take care of how much money we have in the house. If you realize that by now, the finance minister say he getting information and people still banking money now.
Correct.
I don't know how you know that. I don't know what my neighbor doing. You know what your neighbor doing inside?
No.
Exactly my point. So I don't know how he know what's going on. These people, something has to be wrong with them, boy. And let me tell you something before I go, right? This property tax, your last call I touch on it, right? Let me tell you something. If you're a renter, right? You're renting in an apartment and something go wrong in your apartment, who has to see about that? Any landlord?
Correct.
Right. You're owning your own house. You have to maintain your property. Something go wrong with your property.
You have to fix it.
You have to maintain that. And then you want me to come and pay a rent on what I own it. And I have to maintain myself. You know, tell you something, yeah? People don't understand what's going on. I want to say to the people that coming out and saying that they have no property and they have nothing to worry about. I'm going to make it crystal clear so all you can understand. If you're supporting this property tax and you don't own a property, prepare yourself never to own a property in this life. Because that is where it's going to reach to. And the people that own their property, prepare to go bankrupt. If they start paying this property tax, because this man will start raising the percentage every year.
Correct.
After this next election, once they win side, every year you can raise that percentage, you know. But anyhow, you enjoy your night.
Thank you, my friend. So, viewers, just before we go for our break, we have our persons of interest. Megan? Megan, you are on Real Talk Financing. Please make the effort to pay them, otherwise your picture will be circulating more and more. And it is not my fault that you are in decision. It is not my board of directors' fault that you are in decision in this situation. You understand? So, get your facts correct. So, viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to hear Kamala says no to cashless Trinidad and Tobago.
Become a member of Real Talk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas. Open a fixed deposit with Real Talk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid up front. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Real Talk Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery. At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real public concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back to Real Talk viewers. Remember, those of you who have US currency and you need TT dollars, contact me 3391670. I am buying US currency, viewers. Also, remember, you can get a 4% on fixed deposit with your interest up front, viewers. We are the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago is doing that. Remember that, viewers. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad Bisasa has promised a future UNC government will consider implementing monetary reward to police officers as a strategy of incentives to them to work harder to reduce crime. Bisasa also warned the creation of a cashless society would introduce a new level of dictatorship by the government. I'll listen to this.
What is it, Imbert? They say we had to go cashless, but you're already cashless. There's no money. People don't have money. We are already cashless. They're talking about a cashless society. I say tonight on behalf of the UNC, we say no to removing cash. We say no. No cashless society. A cashless society means a place where the bank owns your money. The bank owns your money, and let's talk about that. A cashless society is one where the government can block you from taking out your own money, understand it? As a form of punishment or retaliation. There is no freedom there. A cashless society, as I say, the bank owns your money, you don't. The bank determines which day you could come and pull money out your account. The bank could close down for a week, and where you getting money? Where would you get money? The bank can seize your account with instructions from the government, and you will have no access to any money.
Now, viewers, at the launch of the National Financial Inclusion Survey Report 2023 last week, Finance Minister Clongenbert welcomed the TT International Finance Center efforts to push TT towards becoming a cashless society. I'll listen to this.
With these objectives in mind, the Ministry of Finance, through our agency, the Trinidad and Tobago International Financial Center, or TTIFC, has been working closely with the Ministry of Trade to support the development and promotion of e-payment channels within the state, emphasizing the facilitation of e-money and cashless transactions. We are quickly becoming a fintech innovation hub in this region. As we go deep into the findings, we know that the state of financial inclusion in Trinidad and Tobago is complex, and it's evolving. Financial exclusion is rising, with 25% of households lacking access to formal financial accounts due to barriers such as documentation we just spoke about and costs.
You see, going cashless in Trinidad and Tobago will be a very, very hard thing. You know why? Our bank cards is already a problem. You ever went in the grocery and swipe a card and you had to leave the trolley right there and walk back with your hand empty? That ever happened to all you? But we want to go cashless? The Ministry of Finance made a mistake the other day and $3 billion gone missing. All you want to go cashless, for how much you go missing? Think twice before you do something. Think twice. Prasad Bisasa said the ANC advocate that the use of a hybrid system for cash and digital payment. She said people had a right to spend and save their money in whatever way they wanted to. Listen to this.
So this is a very dangerous something. It sounds simple, oh yes, be cashless, so the bandits wouldn't come and rob and they wouldn't get the cash. It is a very dangerous place to go down, especially when we have now a dictator government in office. We cannot take that chance. And if they don't like Wayne Mark, which we know they don't, poor fella, the few cents they have in the bank, they could block it. They could block it. They could give an instruction and block it. So it is too dangerous. Cash is freedom. Cash is independence from control by the state. You will have no privacy in a cashless society. Your private information will be at risk of hacking. What if a natural disaster hits and we have no electricity for a few weeks? How are you getting money? That's one aspect of it. Huh? That is your freedom to use your money when and where you want, once you do it in a legal manner. That's one side, but the other side is this. Every transaction you make with a card carries what? A cost, a fee. For the card company, a transaction fee. For the card company and the bank. This card fee is an unseen tax. You don't see it. So when you go to buy that rice or that flour or the baby milk, you're paying an extra amount when you are cashless because you have to pay for the card fee.
Things are going to be more expensive. More expensive. But nevertheless, moving on. Opposition UNC General Election Manifesto plans to include raise the legal age for marijuana use and gambling to 25 and older, supporting victims of crime with jobs and housing, and introducing a constitutional right for an accused person to have a trial within a reasonable time. Well, listen to this.
Up in front. The UNC is ready for this election whenever it is called. Put some steel in your backbone, because this fight will not be easy. This is the mother of all elections for us in this country.
The mother of all election, Bisesa said. Now, she insisted that the distraction of the changing of the coat of arms, government would better serve people by focusing on the boat of arms and ammunition arriving freely into TNT. Listen, Kamala.
I say, government, you would better serve the people by focusing on the boats of arms and ammunition coming into our ports every day. Focus on those, the arms, the boats with the arms and the ammunition, the illegal drugs coming into our country. You would better serve us. Now look, we are in August. We're 8 months into the year, 2024. And already the murder rate, as Michelle mentioned, as of yesterday is over 400 in Trinidad and Tobago. Over 400. Every national security minister the PNM has appointed in the last 9 years, everyone has failed. Every commissioner appointed by PNM in the last 9 years, every commissioner of police has failed. Don't get fooled.
Now, viewers, the only commissioner of police did well for Trinidad and Tobago was the former commissioner of police we had, Gary Griffin. And Trinidad and Tobago could testify to that. They could testify to that. She added, the only thing that caused a slowdown in crime were COVID-19 and the lockdown. Listen to Kamala one more time.
The only things that caused a slowdown in the crime was COVID-19 and because of the lockdowns. During COVID, we saw a two-tier policing, two levels of policing. where the eater food, fake elites, friends of the government, they were allowed by the police to have pool parties and weddings. Did you all know that? They could have pool party and wedding, big wedding, endless cars park up there, not a policeman come to do anything. Instead, what were they doing? The average citizens were harassed, terrorized, fined, ticketed for being in their private cars with family members. Or if they were having a family get-together in their own homes. The government and the police used COVID lockdowns to suppress dissent and protests. But they allowed their high friends and family and financiers to have these events.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, that was the only time crime went down, really, you know. Other than Gary being the commissioner, COVID-19 locked us down. And just now we go have dengue locking us down. Because people are dying. They are dying. So just about 2 or 3 minutes on our program tonight, viewers, but I just want to remind you that Real Talk Financing is the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is giving you 4% on our fixed deposit with your interest up front. Why are you waiting 5, 10, 15 years to withdraw the interest from our fixed deposit? Why? We at Real Talk came up with the idea that you want to enjoy your money, not a problem. We created the idea of the interest up front, and we are the only financial institution that is doing that. So, viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, our run of this program is from 11:30 to 12:30 on Friday, and we'll be right back here for another live show, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. So until we meet again, good night.